Hey there, yogis. My name's Crystal Gray. I'm the creator of the Yoga Goddess Academy, and I help women to become confident, amazing, helpful, transformational yoga teachers through my 40-hour advanced yoga teacher training program, as well as my 200-hour yoga teacher training program online, as well as in places like Costa Rica. All right, so today's practice is all about releasing fears so that you can manifest your dreams. Okay, so I really like to use this flow around the new moon. So what I'll be doing for this new moon and for my new moon ceremony or my new moon ritual, don't let that word freak you out. What I mean by ritual is just something tangible, right? So it's really an action, something that you can do that makes you feel powerful. It makes you feel like you've got control over your life, because you do. So it really helps that knowledge to sink in. So I like to do this flow before my new moon ritual. So that could be journaling, it could be meditating, it could be visualizing, bringing in some essential oils and some crystals. That's really all I mean by ritual. Whatever makes sense to you, maybe some oracle cards or tarot cards. And I really like to do this flow before that because I want to release my fears. So whatever fears are stopping me from manifesting my dreams and having my dream life. So I hope that you enjoy this practice. It is a yin, so it'll be half vinyasa and half yin, and I think that you'll really love it. All right, thanks so much for watching. Make sure that you let us know in the comments how you feel after the practice and what fears you're ready to release. Have a great practice. Namaste. So some props that I would recommend would be a bolster. Now, if you don't have a bolster, maybe you have an extra yoga mat, so you could grab an extra yoga mat and then just roll that up. Otherwise, you could use, like couch cushions. Pillows sometimes are too soft, but anything like that. So you don't necessarily need a bolster. And then if you have some blocks, a couple blocks would be handy. I highly recommend, if you're going to be practicing at home, to get blocks. They're pretty cheap, honestly. And then I would invest in a bolster. So mat, blocks, bolster. That's the order that I would invest in things. Yoga blankets are awesome, but I mean, you can always use other sturdy blankets. Let's start in Tadasana up at the front of the mat. So coming about a foot from the front of the mat, you can bring your big toes together to touch and then separate your heels a little bit, or you can separate your feet about fist width, but not really any wider than that. Lift the toes, spread them apart and grip them down so you're really grounded. So really focusing on grounding down. So starting to bring in the energy a little bit of the root chakra. That's where a lot of fears are held. So we're really focusing on grounding today. So really push down into all four corners of the feet. Have just a gentle squeeze in your quads so that you're not locking the knees back, okay? So that you're not hyperextending. Arms are by the sides. Relax the shoulders away from the ears. And then reach the back of the crown of the head up towards the sky. All right, so really focus on your breath, and we'll start to bring in ujjayi or ujjayi. Ujjayi is just kind of slang. I usually say ujjayi because it rolls off the tongue a little bit easier. So we'll start to practice that, but before we do, make sure that your pelvis is neutral so your booty's not popping out, tailbone's not tucking under. Lift your rib cage up. Relax the shoulders, okay? So very gently draw the lower belly in and up, starting to draw the breath, the energy up. So you're not sucking in, you're just gently drawing it in and up, okay? Directing that flow of prana up. And then as you exhale, keep the length here, but let the outer body soften. So let go of tension in the forehead, in the eyes, in the jaw. Just let that start to go. So taking some breaths here before you start the ujjayi. So ujjayi translates to victorious breath, but it also really means conquering, obtaining freedom from bondage. Okay, so that's really what our fears do. So that's why we're bringing in ujjayi breath. Now bring one hand up. Now, what I want you to do to practice is pretend that this is a mirror, okay? And we're going to fog up this mirror. So what we'll do is inhale through the nose, nice and smooth. Drawing the lower belly in and up. And then exhale through the mouth. Now, on that exhale, just kind of let the breath fall out of the mouth. We're not going, okay? So inhale. Exhale through the mouth. Good. Again. Creating length with the inhale. And then exhale. Do that again. Okay, good. So now halfway through your exhale, close the mouth and still try to get that same feeling in the back of the throat. You should still be making a sound, okay? So inhale. Exhale. Okay, so still making that ha sound coming from the throat, not the nose. That's a big mistake a lot of people do. First of all, you're going to get snot everywhere. Second of all, it's going to really deplete your energy super quick. So the sound comes from the throat. Okay, let's breathe in again through the nose. Exhale through the mouth. Close the mouth. Good. Now bring your arms by your sides. Inhale through the nose. Exhale through the mouth or through the nose. Keep the mouth closed. Making that ha sound again. Good. Do that a few more times. Now, as you're doing that, as you feel comfortable on the exhale, see if you could start to do it on the inhale as well. It's a little bit more challenging on the inhale. Keep going. Ground down. Drawing the lower belly gently in and up. Expanding on the inhale, softening the outer body as you exhale. Find your gazing point to stay focused. Keep breathing here. All right, good job. So again, we're up at the front of the mat. Exhale, ground down into all four corners of the feet. And then inhale, reach your arms up overhead. Grab your left wrist with your right hand. Exhale, lean to your right. Really try to keep the belly button twisted open. Ground down into the feet. Inhale, rise up, switch wrists. Exhale, other side. Ground down. Inhale up. Reach both arms up. Exhale, hands down. Anytime you feel like you need to exhale through the mouth just to kind of cleanse, do that. So exhale. Don't forget your ujjayi breath. Inhale, arms up. Grab the left wrist. Exhale, lean over to your right. Inhale up, use your abs, switch wrists. Exhale, other side. Inhale up, reach up. Now this time, exhale, fold forward. Feel free to bend the knees so that you can kind of point the tailbone up. That'll really help to lengthen the spine. Hands to your shins. Inhale, come halfway up to monkey pose, reach the heart forward. Exhale, fold over the legs. Push down into the feet, look out in front of you. Inhale, rise all the way up, palms touch overhead. Exhale, just bring the arms down by the sides today. Breathe here, back in your Tadasana. Coming back to your Ujjayi. Now let's start to incorporate an affirmation. If this resonates with you, you can use this one. On your inhale, I release. Exhale, fears so that I can manifest my dreams. That's kind of long. On your inhale, I release fears. Exhale so I can manifest my dreams. Good. Inhale, I release fears. Exhale so I can manifest my dreams. Beautiful. All right, now bring your big toes together to touch. Exhale, ground down. Inhale, bring your arms up overhead and bring your hips back. Exhale, tuck your chin slightly just so that your neck is nice and long. Now, hold here and breathe, really pushing your hips back. Make sure that you can see your toes and your ankles. So push your knees and your hips back. Try not to stick the booty out. Lengthen the tailbone down. Draw the low ribs in. Palms can be touching or shoulder width. Ground down. Inhale, rise up. And then exhale, fold. Inhale, halfway to your monkey pose, flat back. Exhale, fold over the legs. Feel free to bend the knees. You don't need to touch the ground. Inhale, come all the way up. Palms touch overhead. Exhale, arms float down to the sides. And breathe. Back to your ujjayi, back to your affirmation. Let's do that again. Inhale, come to your chair pose. Exhale, tuck the chin slightly. And breathe. Inhale, rise up. Exhale, fold. Inhale, Ardha Uttanasana, half forward fold or monkey. Exhale, bend your knees, plant your hands, step back to plank. Inhale, push forward, shoulders past the wrists. Exhale, you can lower the knees or keep them up, but lower all the way down, chest lands before the belly. Uncurl the toes, push down into the knuckles. Inhale, lift your chest forward and up, elbows are bent, shoulders away from the ears. Exhale, come down, curl the toes under. Inhale, push up in a straight line to plank or modified plank. Exhale, hips up and back. Downward facing dog. So in your down dog, bend your knees and really push into your knuckles, sending your hips up and back. Keep all the knuckles rooting down. So again, focusing on the root chakra today to balance the root chakra. So focusing on everything that's touching the earth, really ground down. So sending the hips up and back so you're in a straight line from the wrists all the way up to the hips. Now let's walk the dog. So just bending and straightening the alternate legs. So to balance the root chakra, you're focusing on the feet, the ankles, all the way up the legs. So all of the muscles of the legs, the calves, the hamstrings, the quads. All right, now bend your knees. Inhale, look forward. At the end of the exhale, bring your right foot through. Okay, so however you can, bring it through. Now, you'll flatten the back foot when you can. Slowly come up. So you might have to rise up and then flatten the back foot for warrior one. All right, so what I want you to focus on for your warrior one is that your feet are hip width. Okay, that's how I teach it because I mostly teach women. And so it just feels usually more comfortable to have the feet hip width because our hips are a little bit bigger. Okay, so what I want you to do is have your right foot pointing straight forward. Your left toes point towards the front left corner of the mat. Pull your right hip back and your back hip forward to square the hips towards the front of the mat. Your back heel should be pushing down. If it keeps lifting up, take a shorter stance. Okay, so try not to let the booty pop out. That's going to compress the low back. Lengthen the tailbone down. Then from there, from your neutral pelvis, lift the entire rib cage up. Arms up, relax the shoulders. Hands can be shoulder width or palms touching. And breathe. Very grounding pose, Virabhadrasana 1. If you're working on the Sanskrit, practice these words as I say them. Virabhadrasana 1. Now, bring your hands to your heart. Start to take a little bit of a longer stance and open your hips to your left. Have your right heel in line with the arch of the back foot. So now you are going to move the feet a little bit, moving the stance. Right knee's towards 90 degrees with the knee pretty much right on top of the ankle. And then the back foot is more parallel to the back of the mat. It's turned in slightly, but not as much as it was. Arms parallel to the ground. Relax the shoulders and gaze out through the right middle finger. Breathe here. Feel free to take some cleansing breaths. And then come back to your ujjayi. Whew, my quads are talking to me. Okay, right forearm to the right leg, left arm overhead, side angle stretch. Parshvakonasana. Make sure here that you're not dumping into the right shoulder. You could always bring the right hand down to a block or down to the ground, but make sure it doesn't make you dump, okay? You need to be open, both shoulders directly over the bottom leg. Now inhale, rise up, straighten the leg, and then exhale, reverse it. Inhale, bend the right leg. And then exhale, windmill, both hands down on either side of the right foot, vinyasa or downward facing dog. So if you go through vinyasa, you can inhale forward. Exhale, you can lower the knees, lower down. Inhale through, back bend. Exhale, downward facing dog. So full stretch. Push into the knuckles. Make sure they're glued down. And bend the knees. Inhale, look forward. At the end of the exhale, left foot through. And then slowly come up. Start to flatten the back foot. Virabhadrasana 1. Again, pull the front hip back and the back hip forward. Squaring the hips towards the front of the mat. Okay, back heel is down. Back right toes point towards the front right corner of the mat. Left knee's bent towards 90 degrees, but don't do that and then sacrifice your form. Okay, lengthen the tailbone down so you have a neutral pelvis and a nice long lower back. Lift the entire rib cage up, arms up, relax the shoulders, close the armpits. So you're rolling the shoulders just like we do in down dog. And breathe here. Ujjayi. Hands to your heart. Okay, start to open the hips out to your right. Walk your left foot over so now your left heel's in line with the arch of the back foot. Turn the back toes in slightly and level out the hips. Okay, arms up, relax the shoulders and gaze out through the right middle finger. I'm sorry, left middle finger. And breathe here. Inhale, lift the ribs. Exhale, side angle, Parsvakonasana. So your left hand is open, fingers are squeezing together. Again, don't dump into the bottom shoulder. You're in a straight line from the back heel all the way up to the top fingertips. Ground down, inhale, rise up, straighten the left leg. Exhale, reverse it, side stretch. Inhale, come back to your warrior 2. Exhale, windmill the hands down on either side, the left foot, plank. Inhale, push forward. Exhale, lower with or without the knees. Inhale, back bend. Exhale, downward facing dog. So we'll hold here. Please feel free to come down to the knees and just sit back. Either way, just turning your gaze inward. Ujjayi breath. Come back to your affirmation as well. It's okay if it doesn't say this, stay the same each time, just whatever resonates with you. You could say, I release fears so I can manifest my dreams. All right, make your way back to your downward facing dog. Really ground down into the knuckles, send the hips up and back. Bend the knees, inhale, look forward. At the end of the exhale, right foot through, low lunge. Flatten the back foot, slowly come up to your warrior 1. Okay, so feet are hip width, pull the right hip back, left hip forward, lengthen the tailbone. Draw the entire rib cage up, arms up, wrap the shoulders. Again, like you're trying to close the armpits. Hands can stay shoulder width or palms touch. Just relax the shoulders away from the ears. You can do some cleansing breaths and come back to your Ujjayi. Okay, now interlace your hands behind your back, do a big shoulder roll, walk your right foot over to the right like 2 inches. We're gonna go into humble warrior. So do a big shoulder roll, inhale, lift the chest, and then exhale, come forward. You can either rest on the leg or come around. I'm gonna bring the foot even more over. Lift the arms up overhead and let the crown of the head come down towards the ground. Try to pull the right hip back in space instead of letting it swing open. And ground down. Bring your hands on either side of the right foot and downward facing dog or vinyasa. So if you want to do the vinyasa, inhale forward. Exhale, lower. Inhale, back bend. Exhale, down dog. If you're not sure about the up dog, please do cobra. Most people usually need to be doing cobra, okay, instead of up dog. Bend the knees. Look forward, inhale, exhale, left foot through. Flatten the right foot as it feels good and rise up to your Virabhadrasana 1. Again, feet are like they're on train tracks. Pull the front hip back hip forward, back heels down. Arms up, close the armpits. Lengthen the tailbone, lift the rib cage. Relax the shoulders. Find your drishti. Drishti is your gazing point. Interlace your hands behind your back in your non-dominant way. Walk your left foot over to the left. Big shoulder roll, inhale, lengthen. And exhale, lower. Can reach the arms or the knuckles up. And either rest on the left leg or come around and then suck the left hip back in space. Try not to let it go out. Rise up, hands on either side of the left foot. Plank. Inhale, push forward. Exhale, lower. Inhale, back bend. Exhale, engage the abs, hips up and back. Downward facing dog. Roll the shoulders away from each other. Roll the forearms in, keeping the knuckles heavy. Walk your feet in a couple inches, big toes touch. Bend the knees. Inhale, look forward. At the end of the exhale, walk or hop to the front of the mat. Inhale, reach the heart forward, monkey. Exhale, fold. Ground down, look out. Inhale, rise up, palms touch overhead. Exhale, arms down by the sides. Breathe. Ujjayi, affirmation. All right, good. So now we'll do a little balancing sequence before we get down and transition to our yin. All right, so have a strong base in the right foot and bring your left foot behind you about a foot, and you'll just be on the toes and the ball of the foot. Okay, try to keep the hips square towards the front, so the front of your mat, okay, with both hip bones pointing forward. Now bring your hands to your heart. Have a squeeze in your right quad so you're not hyperextending. Inhale, lift the rib cage up, and then exhale, start to tilt forward. So coming into warrior 3, you want to be in a straight line from the heel to the crown of the head. What tends to happen is the hips open and the foot turns out. So toes are pointing down. You don't want an arch in the back, so draw the low ribs and the hips towards each other and the hip bones. Reach the back of the foot back, crown of the head forward. And just go to where it feels good for you. Could reach the arms overhead. So this is warrior 3. Now, try to rise up. Don't touch the foot. Cross the left ankle over the right knee and then send the hips back. So like you're coming into chair. Now I'm going to come down and place my elbows on like my foot and my knee, but you might not come here. You want to make sure that your spine's nice and long, that it's not rounded. Send your hips back in space. You want to be feeling this in the left hip. Now ground down, rise up, and release. Whoo! It's really making my quads are really feeling it today. So just walk it out a little bit. Okay, other side. So now, right foot back, have a strong base in the left foot. Inhale, lift the chest or the ribs. And exhale, start to hinge forward. So lifting the back foot, make sure not to lock the left knee. Squeeze the quad. Draw the low ribs and the hips towards each other. So the ASIS, those hip bones. Back toes pointing down. And slowly come up, don't touch the foot. Cross the right leg over the left. So coming into figure 4 chair. Tilt the pelvis forward, draw the chest forward. You just go to where it feels good for you. You don't want to have a rounded back here. Try to lift the tailbone up like you're trying to stick the booty out. Ujjayi. All right, rise up. Whew, and gracefully release and walk it out. So before we come down to seated, I don't know if you guys are feeling this in your quads, but I really am. So we're just going to do a quad stretch first. It's another balancing pose. So have a strong base in your left foot. Make sure not to lock the knee. And lift the right foot up. Grab the toes or the ankle. Okay, now if you're not feeling a stretch, first of all, you want to keep the knees parallel. Okay, but if you're not feeling a stretch, then lengthen the tailbone down. Reach the right knee down. And switch. Good. Again, lengthen the tailbone, reach the left knee down. And release. All right, awesome. Walk it out. And make your way up towards the front of the mat in our final Tadasana. Ground down. Inhale, reach up. Exhale, fold. Uttanasana. Inhale, monkey. Bend your knees, plant your hands. Exhale, just come back to the hands and knees. And swing your feet around. And coming into Sukhasana. All right, so if Sukhasana or easy seated pose is not easy for you, if it doesn't feel good, please sit yourself up on a bolster or blocks. Okay, so whatever feels good for you. The key here is to have a nice long spine. We're going to be doing some breathing. So if you don't have a nice long spine, then everything inside of your body is like being compressed. It's not in its natural shape. It's not in its ideal shape. Okay. So whenever the spine's nice and long, we're able to really expand and take deep breaths. So before we do this pranayama, just have your palms turned down, close your eyes. And take some cleansing breaths. Starting to let the heart rate slow down. Okay, and then open your eyes. So now transitioning from our Ujjayi breath or Ujjayi to a Kundalini breath called the miracle breath. Okay, so what we're going to do is inhale through the mouth like we're breathing in through a straw. Okay, so it'll be like. Then what we'll do is place the tongue on the upper palate. So placing the tongue, pushing the tongue on the roof of the mouth and hold. And then we'll exhale through the nose, nice and smooth. All right, so you can have your eyes open, and then once you start to feel comfortable, you can close your eyes. And then let's turn the palms open. So this breath, this miracle breath, it helps you to start shifting out of the vibration of fear and shifting into alignment with the vibration of love, okay? Whenever we're in alignment with the vibration of love, this is where all things are possible, okay? So it's a perfect state to be in before you do any sort of new moon ritual. Okay, so now we're going to breathe through the mouth like in through a straw. Hold and place the tongue on the roof of the mouth. Exhale as smooth as you can through the nose. Okay, so we're going to keep doing that. If you have any heart conditions, I would probably skip this. If it makes you feel bad in any way, please skip it, okay? Inhale through a straw. Hold and place the tongue on the roof of the mouth for 8. Exhale smooth through the nose. Inhale straw. Hold, press the tongue. Exhale nose. Let's do it 3 more times. Inhale, straw. Hold and press tongue. Exhale, nose. Two more. Inhale, straw. Hold and press. Exhale, nose. Last one. Inhale, straw. Hold and press. Exhale, nose. All right, good. Come back to your natural breath. Your natural yogic breath, that is. And just notice how you're feeling. Good. All right, lower your head slightly and blink your eyes open, and then lift your head. Okay, so now we'll come into our first yin pose, which is a wide leg forward fold. It's just going to be like a mini wide leg forward fold. Now, if you don't have any props like this, you could use a chair or a stool, whatever you have, okay? And you might not even need that. It just depends on how, cranky or uncranky your hamstrings are. All right. So from here, you can extend the legs out. Now, if you've got a blanket, you might want to set yourself up on a blanket. Bring your feet about as wide as your mat. Now, again, we're just going to kind of build the ground up with props, but you do want to be feeling a stretch, okay? So you want to go as far to where you do feel a stretch, but not pain, just like you would during, vinyasa. Okay, so pull the flesh away from the sitting bones. Big shoulder roll, inhale, lengthen. And then exhale, tilt the pelvis. So try to keep the spine nice and long. We don't want to come into it with a rounded back. Okay, so you just build it up to wherever you need to go. If you have a chair, you could just bring the chair here and place the forearms onto the chair. Close your eyes and breathe. You don't need to do ujjayi, just do deep yogic breath. Cleansing breaths as needed. Relax the face, relax the jaw. When your mind wanders, come back to the affirmation. Good. And then very slowly start to come up to seated. Keep your eyes closed. Just move slow. Just sitting up straight. And just notice how you're feeling after that one yin pose. And that one forward fold. All right, good. Now open your eyes. You can move any props out of the way. Now what we'll do is lay back into supported bridge, okay? So again, you could use a bolster under the sacrum or a block. Lower back. I like to have my feet as wide as the mat actually for whenever I'm doing this with the block under the sacrum, and I'll show you why. So your ankles are just, you know, as far out in front of you as the knees. So you want the ankles to be either under the knees or as wide as the mat in line with the knees. Push into the hips and lift, or push into the feet and lift the hips up, and then place the block under the sacrum. Okay, so make sure after you lift the hips that you don't turn the head from side to side. Now I like to have the feet wide because if my feet are right under my knees, I feel like I'm using too much muscle strength here. Okay, so I keep the feet wide so I can relax my legs a little bit. Now you do want to be feeling a stretch but not pain, so you go to where you need to go today. Shoulders are rolled under the chest slightly. I like to have my palms open. Make sure you can breathe, so you don't want the chin on the chest here. And close your eyes if it feels good for you. And deepen your breath. Push into the feet, lift the hips, move the block, lower down slow. And then bring the knees in towards the chest, stretching out the low back, just rock a little bit from side to side. And then bring the feet down to the ground, and let's come into our final pose before Shavasana. Okay, so with your feet on the floor, knees bent, shift your hips over to the right, and then you can grab your block and let the knees fall over to your left. So hips to the right, knees to the left. So you can you want your knees pretty much stacked here. You could place the bottom knee on the block, or you can move the block and go all the way down. Bring your arms out to your sides in a T. Okay, and make sure here that the shoulders are on the mat. So if your shoulder starts lifting, you might want to put a block under the knee, and that can help ground the shoulder. So here just focusing on everything that's touching the earth. So just kind of going through, making a little mental check of everything that's touching the earth. And as you do that, let those body parts be really heavy onto the earth. Nice deep breaths. You can start to really lengthen the exhales. So deep inhale and then lengthen the exhale. Eyes closed if that feels okay for you. With each exhale, softening into the pose a little bit more and a little bit more. And then slowly come back to center. Now shift your hips all the way over to the left. Stack the knees and let the knees fall to the right, moving the block over to that side if needed. Arms are out in a T, both shoulders down. Go through and notice what's touching the earth. And let those parts of the body completely relax and get heavy onto the ground. Making sure both shoulders are on the ground as well. Relax the face and the jaw. And deepen the breath. And slowly come back to center. Let's draw the knees in towards the chest one more time. Rock a little bit from side to side. You could even bring your forehead up to your knees. I personally don't think that feels good, but if it feels good for you, you can do that. And then full body stretch. Reach your feet in one direction, arms overhead in the other direction. And bring your arms by your sides, palms facing up. Now, if you have a bolster, what you could do is supported Shavasana. So I'm going to put the bolster under the knees and so that it's up kind of tall, like the medium height. Now, this feels really good for the low back. You definitely don't have to do this. You could roll up a mat and put that under the knees as well, or you can just be lying flat, whatever feels good for you. Roll the shoulders away from the ears and then let the chest soften. Palms are facing up. Make sure your hands aren't touching anything. Just let the feet fall out to the sides and take 2 cleansing breaths in through the nose and out through the mouth. And you can exhale on a sigh. It feels really good. Just really releasing anything that's kind of hanging near the surface. Good. And then let the face soften. Let the jaw soften. Maybe the lips even part slightly. And just let the back of the body completely get heavy onto the mat, onto the earth. Letting the front of the body soften and relax. Eyes are gently closed. And just lay here, not connecting to any thoughts, letting yourself drift off to that place right before you fall asleep. Enjoy the last few moments here of Shavasana. Start deepening your breath. Take some cleansing breaths. That would feel good. And bring some movement back into the fingers and toes, wrists and ankles. You can turn your head a little bit from side to side. And then another full body stretch if you feel called to do so. If you had a bolster or mat under your knees, you can just roll it away. Roll onto your right hand side, using your right arm for a pillow. Bend your knees in slightly and just take a couple breaths here with the eyes closed, feeling the lungs and ribs expand in every direction, the front and the back and the sides. And then with the strength of the arms, slowly push yourself up to seated. Let your head be the last thing to come up. Come to an easy cross-legged pose or Sukhasana. Pull the flesh away from the sitting bones. Sit up tall. Relax the shoulders away from the ears. Palms can be down on the knees. Come back to the breath and reach the back of the crown of the head up towards the sky. Notice how you're feeling now at the end of your practice. And circle your hands together in front of your heart into prayer. Say the affirmation one more time, maybe even out loud. It's got even more power out loud. So I release fears so I can manifest my dreams. Again, I release fears so I can manifest my dreams. Send a little bit more energy in that direction. Show gratitude for our practice and close our practice with one Om. Take a deep breath in. And then bow down to where it feels good for you. Bring your thumbs from your heart center up to your third eye, acknowledging the energy that's within you, around you, connects us all together and never goes away. That energy within me acknowledges the energy within you, and I thank you so very much for letting me guide you through your practice today. Namaste.